Hi, I'm Shaggy.
And I'm Frost.
On today's episode of the T3 podcast, we talk about our hiatus, Thanksgiving, Destiny 2, and more.
Stay tuned for that and more on today's episode of the T3 podcast.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of the T3 podcast. Once again, I am Shaggy. Joined with me is my lovely co-host, Frost. And we have a new face today. We have our first ever one of our immediate friends group guest. So I'm super pumped. Not the group guest. I'm super pumped to have him. My friend, DiamondJab, who's joining us from his lovely abode.
Hey.
There we go. It's super just exciting to have more of my friends and people I've met through the scene of streaming and etc. come and join me with this. So I'm super pumped for this episode. Frost, how you feeling today so far?
How am I feeling today? I'm sleep deprived and I'm off of caffeine, but let's get it, you know? This is where the good content comes from.
That's the spirit, Diamond.
This is where the tangents part come in.
Yeah.
Yes. Turmoils, Tangents, and Tangerines podcast. Turmoil because it just gets hectic. Tangents because we always just go off on random shit. And Tangerines just because it sounds cool with the third T.
Hey.
That's it. But Diamond, honestly, how's your day been going so far? Enough about us.
It's been going very well. I'm really excited to be here and kind of talk some stuff with you guys.
Yeah.
My Twitter is full of positivity right now, so it's good stuff. The rare occasion when Twitter is full of positivity.
Yeah.
Literally anything else.
The 2 minute window.
And I'm looking at the T-shirt and I'm really digging it. I'm
Thank you.
digging the branding.
Thank you.
That is, for everyone who's watching on YouTube, that is his logo, his branding. We're gonna throw out all of the socials for everything later in the podcast, of course.
Like we always do.
do.
But we know how to run this podcast. We've been doing it for a bit.
Yeah, it's only been a couple.
We didn't miss a couple weeks.
No, we didn't miss a couple weeks. Not at all.
Happen.
No, we won't talk about that in a little bit. Maybe.
Yeah,
Look, make me the bad guy. Just say it was because scheduling conflicts and Diamond was being a diva and we couldn't get him on the show. So
we can blame Uncle Sam on scheduling conflicts for me.
Yes,
for
with
one.
you, Uncle Sam.
Two, real quick, Diamond, have you actually watched any of the podcasts before that me and Ricky have put out?
No, so I've been following on social media. But I've never. This is the first time that I'm experiencing the show in this.
Then I can't wait.
The
for
turmoil. First episode for the turmoil.
This is the turmoil part. So, something that me and Ricky have that is a recurring segment on our show is what we like to call the Denny's Battle Royale.
Mm-hmm.
So, in this scenario, picture if you will, it's like 11:39 p.m. on a Friday night. You arrive at your local Denny's. There's like 3 of the lights that are out. And what you need to do is you need to put together of fictional characters, real characters, humanoids, non-humanoids. You're going to put a team together of 3 to have a knife fight in the Denny's parking lot.
Mm-hmm. So you need to pick 3 individuals. Can be
real people,
non-fiction or fiction.
Books, movies, TV. Throw your 3 together. Send them at us.
3 in a knife fight. Okay, so right off the bat,
let's get it.
I would say, for any of you who are Destiny fans, I would say Petrovenge right off the bat.
Oh, that's cheating. That's gotta be cheating.
You said no. You literally said I could choose anybody, and
now
you
must have been smart enough for that yet.
Petrovenge has the ability to control her own knife. Come on,
fantastic. Now. I love it.
It's broken, but I love it.
Petrovenge right off the bat is number 1 on the list. Okay, to control a knife.
He's getting real technical. I'm excited.
Yeah. Number 2, I would say is I would probably say someone like, in terms of like real life, I would say Harry Houdini. His ability to throw knives at like the big, or any popular magician, but the only one that came to mind was Houdini.
Or like a David Copperfield.
Like people who can throw knives and not kill someone, I would imagine would be pretty good at potentially killing someone.
Potentially, yeah.
Or this could backfire and they really are just really good at not hitting things.
The whole time they've been trying to kill people.
They've been trying to kill people and they just can't. So there's a consequence to it. Oh my goodness. That's 2 knives. I don't know if there's a third that I can think of off the top of my head that would be like a benefit. It would just be someone random. I guess if I were to hang out with someone, like someone who I would just like shoot the shit with, regardless of whether they were good or not, with knives would be like Donald Glover. It would just be
this is a fantastic team.
If I'm not gonna win, like I just want someone I can shoot the shit with and just chill. So
honestly,
that would probably be my 3: Petrovenge, someone classic like Houdini, and then Donald Glover. Childish Gambino would be
definitely one of the best teams I've ever heard assembled. That was incredible.
I think that
Petrovenge would probably win the fight on her own, which means the rest of us can just like Houdini would just show us some tricks, and Donald Glover and I'm what?
Dude, I feel like that's awesome. Johnny's all dog team from last time.
Yes. What was it? It was Air Bud last time. Air Bud and then some other people. I forget what the other dogs were.
I forget.
But Frost, what is your 3-person team?
All right. I feel like I got to counter Houdini. I got to get a hard counter, so I'm gonna do Chris Angel. All right. We're gonna get some fucking elevation, and then from up there we'll start throwing some shit. All right. We gotta move quick.
Got it. Okay.
Then shit. We're gonna get one of the Denny's employees because I feel like on home turf they're gonna have the motivation to like
home
protect,
field advantage.
Like, just hold their ground.
I like that.
You know? So we have Chris Angel, Denny's employee, and then you know what? I'm gonna pick Ricky for my 3rd. Just because.
That means he just compared you to Childish Gambino. Like, how do you feel about that?
Oh, not countering Gambino. He's just there.
I wish I had my Gambino poster up for that, but I moved. Because I moved, and now I'm at home.
Yeah, right.
So it was
just
other
there.
Man,
right.
I mean, Gambino and I would just freestyle, and I just take it from him. I'd be like, just kill me.
Yeah.
Sir, it is an honor to be stabbed by you today. I just want to let you know. Big fan.
So my team has one underlying theme, which will be revealed
at the end.
At the end, but you can probably pick it up. First, it's going to be William Wallace. So William Wallace from Braveheart.
I'm trying not to scream it.
Okay.
And then the dude from The Patriot, whose name I don't remember.
I know what your thing is.
And then his new movie, The Fat Man. It is an all Mel Gibson themed team.
That's a strong team, dude.
It's a lot of crackhead energy on that team.
That's a racist team.
Yeah, you know what? I don't want to get canceled, so maybe we might scratch that team.
We got to get some controversy on the show, dude.
About this.
Ooh. I don't know why, but I just when you said the Denny's employee, I just thought they may take our land, but they will never take our freedom.
I just thought Mel Gibson. You mentioned the Denny's employee, and I was just like, man, I wonder if Mel Gibson's ever worked at Denny's. I
imagine on and off. But if you're listening and you can comment or review in any form of that fashion, please let us know which of these 3 teams would you pick to be the winners. And in the beginning of next episode, if we have votes, we will then we will use those votes to say who the winner was. So
and
we
make sure you explain why it's Diamond.
That is true. Why? Who's your winner and why is it Diamond?
Yeah, straight up.
But awesome. But yeah, so we mentioned this a little bit before. We had a little bit of a break hiatus. It's been about 3 weeks. Our last episode was for Halloween, and now it's past Thanksgiving.
Oh.
So yeah, it's been a little bit. So tell us about how Uncle Sam has kind of screwed you up, Frost.
So as I've mentioned before on the show, I'm in the National Guard for New York.
Thank you for your service.
Shut the hell up. So one of the things that we had to do is we had to go and do our individual weapons qualification. And me, unfortunately, being reliable, was picked to go early and help with the mission. So I went early to help sit on ammo. That didn't happen because Army. And then so I basically went 2 days early for no reason, which stopped recording. And then we just slept out in the middle of Pennsylvania for 4 or 5 days. I froze. There was most of the time I was out there, I couldn't feel my feet. So I'm really...
That's PA
really,
winter for you.
Yeah. And we were in the mountains too.
Yeah, in Bumblefuck.
Yeah.
You're in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Oof.
So I'm just glad that I didn't like have to amputate my feet in the middle of like the field. So we're just real thankful. And then I was just rolling with the punches. We got back late. I had to stay later for helping turning ammo in. And then when I got back, it was just already, we missed the window for that week and the week before for recording, unfortunately. So we missed out on 2 weeks, thanks to Uncle Sam. So, you know.
And the last week's on me because my life was, last week with work was
More
just
life
like, and crazy, and Thanksgiving and holidays and stuff. But
yeah,
going into that, how was everyone's Thanksgiving?
It's wonderful, man.
Yeah, what did you do, Diamond? What did you end up doing? Because with all the regulations and COVID stuff going on, it's been a big change for everyone.
Yeah, we didn't travel anywhere. We ended up just kind of staying here, and we did go to my wife's parents' place. We hung out for a little bit. We went to my parents' house, and every Thanksgiving, for whatever reason, my little brother seems to want to play Mario Kart, like with the family.
Huh.
But every year he's aged, he progresses and like, yeah, this is my year to like to like win. And so I'm always the last one to show up because I live the farthest away.
Mm-hmm.
And so I show up and I put my jacket down and the family's already like playing. There's 4 people playing already. So they hand the controller over and he wanted to create a distinct advantage. So he gave me the tiny Joy-Con. He gave me the side of the Joy-Con. So I'm sitting here like this because that's how big they are. It's super tiny. And if you know me, like I'm not tall, but I'm a big dude. So like for me, it's it doesn't work very well. Needless to say, I whooped that ass regardless. So,
that's my boy.
There we go.
So it's another year of training he's gonna have to do in the.
Do you think your brother like all year? He's like the day after Thanksgiving, even on Thanksgiving when he goes home, he's like, all right, we got to train back up.
I could tell you right now, he only plays 2 games. It's Pokemon and Mario Kart. So like, I don't know what the percentage split is in terms of like, yo, this is the year, but he's gonna need to get into a hyperbolic time chamber to catch up to me.
Honestly, is that right?
How much? So he won 1 race, and then and I won all the subsequent races in 2 tournaments. Then we got into the last tournament, and I finished in 8th, so I was already behind, and then came back with 3 straight wins and won that tournament. So like,
wow.
So it was not very happy going through that, but I had to flex my muscles a little bit, the ones that I do have, and I was like, yeah, thanks.
Bada boom.
Thanks.
How old is your brother then?
Oh, he is, so there's, 9 years, but he's 22.
Okay.
22?
Gotcha. Nice.
So
are we all the older
enough,
siblings
like,
here?
a 21-year-old ass whooping is like, is reasonable.
Yeah. You're beating one of us around.
I mean, I'm 32 going on 33, so like, I had to be like, hey, I got a couple of years of drifting left in me. I'm not done yet.
You gotta hold plates.
You're built we're built different too. As professional gamers, as they'll say. If anyone who streams, are you a pro gamer? No, but
no.
we're just built different in that sense. Professionally, I stream.
You can beat me 1-on-1, and I will be very happy to take it. But the moment a third pair of eyes is watching, I can't have that happen on my watch. I can't.
It's that audience mentality. As soon as you perform,
the audience kicks in, and I'm like, yo, I can't be losing in front of my sister. Like, I gotta
start talking to chat that's not there.
Yeah, literally, the worst thing happened last week at work. So I'm a therapist for some of us who don't know, and when I go to the clinic I work at, I work with children with special needs, and my one client, I do strictly telehealth with him right now because of his parents said, look, we're going to pull him out indefinitely because of COVID, and I said, that's understandable. So I was doing work with him via telehealth from it's like a school day essentially. I said, "Okay, chat," and I stopped myself and I went. But he didn't pick up. He didn't pick up on me saying chat because I was like in transition between like me doing like 3 things, and he was just waiting. But I was like chat, and I'm like no.
Horrifying and phenomenal simultaneously.
It was great. It was a great experience. I couldn't help but laugh for a solid like 15 seconds while I'm trying to do things. I'm like, all right, what's this card say? 4 + 2 is 6. That's right, bud.
Good job, chat.
Good job, chat.
Quick ad.
No nonsense. You would probably be an immediate partnered streamer if you did interactive games with chat like that and didn't even play anything. You just put cards up and chat responded, bro.
Yeah.
You would get so many subs.
I mean, look at Twitch Plays Pokemon when that first came out.
Dude, that was crazy.
People will watch anything. It's insane.
On it, yeah, that is true. And
I think Ricky got this far.
Okay, guys, that's a nice podcast episode.
Nailed it.
Ricky, how was your Thanksgiving?
But my Thanksgiving was pretty good. Honestly, we went on our tangent for so long. I forgot we were talking about Thanksgivings. But the podcast name,
check the box.
Think, it was pretty good. I did travel a tiny bit, but stayed within the guidelines. My favorite meme that I saw from this was, if you've seen Inglourious Bastards, in the first scene when it's Colonel Lanza, I think it is. He comes in and he says, "You're harboring enemies of the state on the floorboards." No, you're not. But it's, instead of enemies of the state, it's more than 10 people at your Thanksgiving dinner under the floorboards. And that just killed me. And but none of mine had more than 10 people. But I drove up to my girlfriend's house, which is about an hour and a half away from where I live, and then I drove back to back to my home to meet with a couple people. It was only a couple. It was only like me, my girlfriend and her parents. That was it, and then me, my family, and my grandparents. And that was it. So very small,
right?
But it was still really nice. It was really nice, and I think everyone who I've talked to, both at work and with my family, appreciated it a little bit more, especially since we haven't seen each other in so long.
Absolutely.
And it was just like a different feel to it, which was really, really nice. But Frost, what did you do for Thanksgiving?
So normally for Thanksgiving, we host my mom's side of the family, right? And we'll have like around 20 there. Obviously can't do that this year. And then, so we were going to have people over at my house again, but then my grandmother was like, you know what? I don't really want to have to like move places. We'll just do it at my place. So we're like, all right, cool. We had it at 9. Thankfully, we were at 9 people. And I also had a meme on it where, the kid that like is crying with like the Glock in his hand, and it goes from one frame and it's like him like realizing what he has to do. And the text says, when the 11th person shows up to Thanksgiving, and I realized what sacrifice I need to make. So I sent that to my sister like 3 times. I was like, I really hope like we don't have like a random aunt and uncle show up, because I'm gonna have to do something I regret.
I know what I have to do, but I
don't know about the strength to do it.
I don't have the strength to do it.
But we actually took extra precautions at my Thanksgiving, because my cousins are very smart. A lot of them are in the medical professional. I'm very stupid, so I don't do none of that. But one of my cousins right now is working in a hospital, and obviously in hospitals there's COVID. So she gets tested all the time. So she knows she wasn't, but just to be safe, we were wearing masks, we were practicing proper social distancing, and then
That's awesome.
My uncle was dishing out the meal to everybody, which kind of sucked, because it's kind of like you felt bad for asking for seconds because you're kind of like inconveniencing people. So I didn't eat as much this Thanksgiving, which might have been a blessing. But,
Neither did I. I'm kind of in the same boat. I didn't eat as much as I usually would. So
that's how I was too. And I don't know if it's because I went to my doctor and he was like, yo, maybe watch your weight a little bit.
No, he did not say that. I was saying it was a joke.
No, he did. He did a little bit, because he was like just early intervention. I was like, thank you. He's a cool, he's fine dude. So I'm like, you good dog. I appreciate it.
You good.
Like, I haven't drank
He's
soda.
a fine dude.
Yeah, I love him. He's a nice dude. So like, I'm cutting out soda for the weekdays, and I'm just drinking it on the weekends is what I'm trying to do now. It's like a crazy, like, not crazy, but just as a different transition to it. But
Limiting yourself to that.
yeah, I kind of wish I ate more because my grandma makes broccoli casserole, and it's my favorite thing in the whole fucking world. It's just like a green bean casserole, but like she has like, I don't know, it's like cream cheese and like the broccoli and the breadcrumbs, and I'm like,
Chef's kiss.
Yeah, it's just incredible. So, but what are you guys' favorite dishes? Because that just made me think about the food there.
I was about to ask, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, favorite dish. I don't know if I personally have one, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
A good stuffing is always really nice.
Absolutely.
My wife, however, loves ambrosia. You guys know what ambrosia is?
No.
I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
It's like this makeshift piecemeal dessert dish, but it's like this hodgepodge of like sweet items. It's like grapes and marshmallows and but it's in like this it ends up being like this yogurty kind of texture with some other things. And it's just really weird. There's like I think like walnuts in it or peanuts are in it too. So it's like there's a really odd concoction, but it's got this really sweet taste to it. My wife loves it. She'll make like this huge bowl of it, and then she'll just eat the entire bowl because but yeah, like that, I know that's hers. That's like the dish that stands out for me because she loves it so much, but I don't usually eat too much of it. But like a good stuffing, like if you ruin stuffing, I'm probably not going to eat a majority of it, the turkey or not. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm also in the minority of like, I'm a Thanksgiving ham person. I'm not a turkey person.
Okay.
There are people that live in the confines of like, we have turkey every single year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, I like a good ham. Like when a ham comes out of nowhere and catches me by surprise.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, like one year they're like, "Hey, we're not doing turkey, we're doing ham," and I'm like, "Really? Delish."
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a big ham person myself.
I'm a big ham person. Yeah,
I definitely need to have a little bit of turkey with me. I like more dark meat than the white meat for sure. But
I think
if there's
general
ham
consensus.
there, absolutely.
I don't meet people that are like huge white meat fans. Most of the people that I've met who they like the dark meat.
Yeah. My one coworker, she was like, "Yeah, for me and my boyfriend, I just made," because she didn't go out. She's like, "Yeah, I just made the white meat," and I was like, "The what?" I was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "You just made the dry part?"
What? He said, "How? How did you?"
So
she didn't buy. I don't think she bought a whole bird.
Did he leave you?
Did he leave you?
Oh.
But Frost, what was your favorite one?
So, every like kind of like holiday dinner that we do, I always beg her to make her twice baked potatoes. Ever did? Twice baked potatoes have been my I could eat probably about 10 pounds of twice baked potatoes in one sitting. Like I will just fucking go to ham on that shit.
That sounds incredible. Anything potato, just you have my heart and soul. And it's just like, here.
The Irish in me is
take
just
it.
Like, bro, you got to do it.
Yeah, that's definitely an ideal thing. But that was a lot of Thanksgiving I was very happy to talk about. But we have games to talk about.
We do have games
people.
To talk about.
We have games to talk about. But specifically, we did not talk about because we haven't talked about it in 3 weeks. I almost said months, but it's been weeks because my concept of time is terrible.
What year is
3 months?
3 months. It's been the drop of Beyond Light.
Oh.
How hype have we been? This has been one of my favorite Destiny experiences since Forsaken. Like Shadowkeep to me, it was like, oh, the new story was really neat. The darkness was cool. The seasons really didn't interest me. I was saying 14 came back. That was pretty cool. But this is really enticing to me. And the lore, I'm just excited to dive in. We have Diamond, who probably knows 10 times more than I do about so much.
Probably both of us combined.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I got Bife.
Greetings, Guardians. My name is Byfair.
Hey,
There he is.
There we go.
I've watched a lot of Bike videos.
His voice is just so
It's the only way.
angelic. But
Yeah.
this is just such a good experience.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I'm happy that Life got the chance to expand a little bit. He was doing Godfall videos, and then Beyond Light just blew up. So it's like, got to come back and do those videos, man.
Come back to your OG status.
Come
Yeah,
back
come
home,
back to
baby.
the OG.
Come back home.
No,
Doors unlocked. Don't you worry.
doors unlocked. I'm kind of in the same boat. So I understood what Shadowkeep was. It was Bungie leaving BattleNet and kind of going off on their own, and they needed a foundation for it. So Shadowkeep is kind of a sacrificial foundation. So a lot of these ideas that are the beginnings of the plot lines are those seasons, right?
Yeah.
So Season of Dawn is the initial plot line for what is ultimately going to be the end of the Cabal, right? That's the end of the Red Legion story arc, so we think.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it looks like we're going to get even more Red Legion stuff coming up, but that's a whole
Yeah,
nother conversation. But so I understood what Shadowkeep was, and I understood that there were parts of it I wasn't going to enjoy. I didn't like Season of Undying.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily care for Season of the Worthy, but Season of Arrivals was the one that got my attention because that season was the season I got the pass done really early. I got the pass done maybe like a weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't have to worry about grinding for the cosmetics. And I didn't really care about the power because there was no raid, there was nothing to really go towards. So I was really immersing myself in what had been a year's worth of mechanics
Right.
that Bungie added with Charged with Light and the Warmind mods. And so all of a sudden, it went from a shooter to an RPG, like really quickly.
Yeah, it did.
And so I was just immersed in like all of these different layers and the weapons that we had. And I ended that season rank, I think it was like 265. Like I put so much time into Season of Arrivals that to prep for Beyond Light. And then that feeling has just continued. Like Beyond Light is just such an RPG heavy experience. That it's really refreshing to not be like, oh, I'm just aiming and shooting at things.
Right.
That there are mods and mechanics and structures that are in place. So it's been a phenomenal season so far.
And I think yeah, you go, Frost. You go.
I feel like I was in the same boat for Shadowkeep because, as Ricky knows, so back when I was still over on Xbox before I built my PC and moved over here, I did Shadowkeep, and they kind of lost me. I stopped playing Destiny for a long time, and then it wasn't until probably about 2 weeks before Beyond Light actually was getting ready to drop that I started getting back into it, so I could get up to a level to like know the game, to be able to play with all my friends again, and like. I heard about Sin 14 coming back, and that I was like, oh, that's like a cool thing to hear about. Like, I'll probably just like watch a video on it, but like it wasn't enough to like bring me back into the game. But just Beyond Light, everything I've experienced so far, like even being like so low and like not being on like the same level as everybody else, I'm having a blast. Even if I'm playing by myself and I'm trying to like get the gear to get up, just the story and just like everything in like the environments of Europa is fantastic. Like I'm just having a blast playing the game.
Yeah.
How crucial do you guys think that delay was for Destiny, for Beyond Light? That had to have been
huge,
insane. Because I want to know what content would have not made it in, or what would have changed. Because I feel like if we had the Destiny that was going to release in October or September, I forget. I think it was October, mid-October. Mm-hmm. I think it would have had a totally different mouthfeel.
Oh, it had a rough launch
when after you shoot up the content.
Well, I think there's a bunch of end game stuff that would have been missing.
Yeah.
I also think if you look at, I'm going to counter myself a little bit because I don't know how much would be. If you look at this season in terms of what they've given us so far, we've lost a lot more than we've gotten. If you think of like Crucible maps and Gambit maps and a lot of the physical content, we've lost a lot of that. In terms of end game, really all we've gotten is, if I insert raid the way we've always gotten a raid, the only thing different that we've gotten in a raid is an end game vendor, which is at the end of the raid, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the only new thing in the raid experience that wasn't there before.
Yeah.
And then if you look at the world, the only real new thing that we've gotten in the world is nightfall elements in lost sectors. So so there's not a lot of innovation in what we've gotten. And a part of me feels like that's a byproduct of the era we're in right now with
Yeah.
COVID. Is we have a lot of teams working from home, so they're using systems from other areas and applying them to the content we have, and they're discovering that the community likes that. The community likes that there are 1250 and 1280 lost sectors. The community likes that there's a vendor at the end of the raid to kind of roll what you specifically want. So in terms of innovation, I'm not seeing as much outside of obviously the stasis subclass, but in terms of the game, the execution, I think is about as good as you could have gotten in the era that we're in right now.
Absolutely.
It's about as good as you could have gotten, and then some. I think that this is well beyond Shadowkeep in terms of execution. I think Forsaken had the ability to do more because of where it was. Forsaken had the ability to go, oh, you beat the raid. Here's a brand new space to go into.
Right.
Now that this raid is beaten in the Dreaming City. Have fun. And now there's a whole new game to play because of it. You know, you get the luxury of doing that because of the era we're in right now. So
yeah, especially having with Forsaken a third studio to do things when you had Activision, that definitely helps.
Studios like saying, hey, we're going to help build your Gambit season, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. You definitely have the luxury of it. Like, Season of Opulence is still one of my favorite seasons ever. That they've done from the lore perspective, from the execution, and Menagerie being what the community wanted at the time. The community wanted a 6-player game mode that was match made that wasn't a raid.
Yeah.
Well, the community wanted it to be a raid, and all the raiders went, "No, we're not carrying you through a match made raid experience."
Yeah. Oh
we're
my
not
gosh,
doing that.
that'd be so hectic.
So Bungie like met him in the middle. They were like, "Here's a 6-player match made game mode for PvE that has that feel and takes place in the same environment," and people loved it. People loved Menagerie. So
I had a great time in there.
Forsaken gets a lot of credit for what it did, but this is about as close as you could get to that in the era we're in right now.
Forsaken was a dark time. They killed my Vanguard.
He's still not. He's still. I mean, I'm not over it either. I'm still pretty upset about it.
I don't think any real hunter out there, I don't think is over Kate's death.
No, there are people in people. I was in Awoken Queen's chat today, and someone was like losing their shit because they had to go to Crow as a vendor, and they were like, "I can't talk to this guy. He killed my." Yeah, so people are not over it, but that's it. Like from a writing perspective, it shows that Bungie made the right choice.
Oh, absolutely.
In terms of like, you can't have that impact without it.
No.
So, my Guardian can't stand Crow. Like when I'm playing the game, I'm like, this fucking asshole, right? Frost, however, sees the story and like how they did it, and I'm like, these motherfuckers are fantastic.
So good.
Is cinematically just like my jaw dropped when we finally got that reveal of Uldren coming back, and you're like, no.
It's crazy because Uldren coming back is not even the biggest reveal in that scene.
No, it's not.
The biggest reveal in that scene is not even Crow coming back. It's this idea that Osiris just gets pimp smacked by this Hive Knight, right? Yeah. He just gets smacked around, and no one puts 2 and 2 together on what that could be, because he is one of the greatest Guardians to have ever lived. So no one is able to make that connection until you're knee deep in the season and the season begins, or you're knee deep in the year and the season begins, and you finally get that context. And Bungie has this benefit of the rabbit trail is when you're so deep in it, you don't have to worry about whether the writing is good or bad, because it's going to take the player somewhere.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can put Osiris in the most ridiculous position possible, and it's still interesting because we've gotten so little of him for so long that now we want to see where that journey takes him. So like it's the writing is so phenomenal that you can have Crow be the centerpiece, and he's not even really the biggest part of a reveal.
Yeah. Not the star of his center, which I feel that bomb drop. I mean, just loading in, like, what you're like, oh, hey, the new season's out today. You know, I'm having a blast. I'm going to hop on, see what's going on. And you're like, oh, let's go to the moon and do this mission. You know, get to see Osiris, my favorite Guardian, Sagira. We get to see what's going on with Uldren and all that. And then you just do that opening. And then you hear, for anybody that hasn't done anything with the new season for Destiny, here's your spoiler warning. But Sagira is just like, you hear that Sagira is gone, and then I feel like everybody just had that moment where they're just like, "What? Like what? What did you just say?"
Crazy on Twitter when they read that lore piece.
Oh yeah,
I was my jaw dropped to the floor. I was like, "You're kidding! Osiris is mortal now."
You know what my response was? I was like, where were all these passionate fans when I was playing Curse of Osiris by myself on my Xbox? Where were all you big Sagira fans out there? I'm sitting here doing prophecy boxes on my own because everyone decided to up and quit the game.
Now y'all want to hop on the bandwagon.
Now all of you want to be like, oh man, Sagira's gone. Like, where have you been?
Pour one out for Sagira.
Yeah. Just real quick, just rock the ghost shell for the rest of the season.
That and Spider caught me off guard.
Oh my god!
I always liked Spider's voice actor, but he easily became one of my favorite characters in the game in his monologue about what he did to Crow after you meet him for the first time. And it's just so well done that I was always like, man, Spider's cool. And then I looked at him, I was like, actually, Spider's not cool at all.
Yeah.
He changed my opinion in a negative way while still liking the character.
Oh, absolutely.
That I think it's so hard to do when you only have like 10 lines to read in a season. So
yeah.
It's so good.
It really just says a lot about, like, beyond going back to talking about how great Beyond Light is. I feel like just like the stories that they've put out so far with going into Europa and doing the Stasis story, but as well as with the season, just in general, the writing and like just the storytelling has been phenomenal. It's been like 10 out of 10 because you're just going through, and even just these small bits where like you do Wrathborn Hunt and you have that like tiny bit of dialogue with Crow, and it's just like you feel like you get so much out of so little, and I love it.
Yeah, there's the one of the best decisions they made was, as much as I hate it, they took lore books and they attached them to activities. They attached them to accomplishments. So the only way you got context was by doing something. They frustrated me because they took Trials and Tribulations and they put them on the trials, which I don't play because it's broken 90% of the time. So I don't play Trials, but now there's a book that's attached to it. So I'm like, bitch, now I got to play Trials to get this piece of context. What I didn't see, because hindsight is 2020, when we get to this year, is that when you go to your Triumphs page, it tells you what piece of lore you get. So a really good example is the Kell of Darkness, which is Eris's kind of backstory.
Yeah.
As you complete Born in Darkness, you get one book, which is kind of the Stranger's timeline that she came from and the events that took place there. As you complete the narrative and the raid, you get the Kell of Darkness, and you get that story. So while I'm going through the Deepstone Crypt and I'm doing, all right, we're going to complete the raid, we're all Void Warlocks, right? The moment I finish that Triumph, it gives me another lore book. So I'm uncovering more of the story. It's not just all given to me at once. And so I'm attaching these accomplishments to it. And I love the delivery of it because, to your point, like, the story is so good that the biggest complaint I had is when I was blowing through it. When it was all done, I knew all the lore, I knew the story, and then it gets put on hold for 4 weeks while I wait for the next event to come up.
Right.
I'm still uncovering things today, and I'm 3 weeks in. So, like, the avid player is still getting stuff, let alone the casual player is just going to be neck deep in stuff to work with. So.
And I think that was really good that they built off that with Season of Arrivals. And I mean, they kind of did it with some Forsaken stuff too, if you want to go back that far, with the tree, coming back to the tree every week and getting a different lore book and getting all that stuff to figure out what's new this week, what happened, what's up with Savathûn, because that was a humongous piece of that season, and just finding out each and every little tidbit of that. And just, I'm so thankful that they finally put the lore books, and it's been like this for a while now. They put the lore books in the game. You don't have to go to Bungie.net and go to the Grimoire anymore to read the damn story that the writers write tremendous writing on. But everyone was like, "Hey, I got Galahorn. Shoot big gun now. What the fuck did it even do?"
It's ironic because you gain a lot and you lose a little bit, because the thing I miss the most is the Grimoire had written text for every boss.
Yes,
And
yes, I
so
remember that.
now when I play the game and I'm fighting a boss, if there's no lore attached to it, what is he? He's just an object that I shoot.
He
And there's
might as well just be a drag.
he might as well just be a nameless individual, right? But the grimoire, like I would go back and I would read about Nook as one of the death singers in Taken King, and I was like, oh shit, this is what she's doing. Like this is her thing, and that's what that boss is. It's not just a mechanic in a raid or an enemy in a fight. So there's a give and take to it. I love that the lore is in it, but yeah, to Frost, to your point, it's some of the best written lore to date. Like, and it's some of the best storytelling they've had to date, hands down.
I'm a lore junkie. I got really big into it in Forsaken, and then I skipped out a lot when I took my break. But now with all this stuff coming back with Beyond Light and them dragging me back into Destiny, I'm just like swimming in it. I love it.
Out and they pull me back in.
I tell people if there are 3 books, depending on the level of lore that you love, in terms of like your starting point. If you like character like Testament, you want to read the Ace of Spades book. You want to read the Cade book. If you want character driven like dialogue. If you want like world building like philosophical debate, you want to read Unveiling. Unveiling is the one that like is literally the darkness's philosophy on the universe. This is how we interact. This is the metaphor we use because you're a human and you don't understand what we're saying. So this is how we're going to deliver it. It's really high level reading, but it's so interesting to see how the darkness kind of lays it out. But if you want really complex, like confusing, scientific, you're into the science of anything, there's a book called The Last Days on Kraken Mare, which chronicles the original collapse and how Titan became the way it was. So a lot of people think about like the waves that were on Titan. Those waves are as high as they are because of what a pyramid ship did during the original collapse. They have gravitational technology and they stretch Titan into like a cylinder instead of an orb. And then instead of destroying the planet, they leave. And so gravity kind of pulls it back together, and that action kind of thrusts it back into place. And so those waves are the ripple effect when you land on Titan for the first time. And so for people who like that really high level technological jargon, that's the book. But the fact that all 3 of them exist in the same game is astounding.
Yeah.
The fact that
there's something for everybody.
There's something for everybody, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's just been an insanely good time. It has had its, I want to play devil's advocate because half the shit that they gave out was broken upon release anyway. I mean, we if just look at Warlock stasis in general. I mean, people are still up to debate that he needs to get nerfed again after it already kind of did. But
I see no issue.
Yeah, I see no issue.
I know what you're talking about.
But they still there were some things that my look was like maybe intentionally they wanted to break it a little bit just to show you how for a narrative how powerful the darkness was, but also like come on now, it's a game.
It's a game. I'd like to enjoy it.
Yeah,
right.
But
I get it though. Like when Stasis first came out, my initial thought was like I was trying to go back and remember like when we first got Tether for the first time, and people would pop their super, someone would pop a Tether, and it would immediately just take you out of your super because you were suppressed. And I tried to think about like the frustration that people had when Titans got shoulder charge, and then they gave them insurmountable skull for it, and they were just shoulder charging like crazy around the map in Crucible. And that tends to be the problem. Like there's this debate going around about the PvP community and what their role is in this ecosystem, because it doesn't dictate anything. I want it to, because the PvP community is phenomenal in the way that they think about the game, but it doesn't dictate anything. Bungie's not going to change something for the PvP community.
No.
If Stasis is fine where it is in PvE, it's going to stay there.
We're going to keep it there because that's
find
the
a way.
Focus.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to have to find a way to work around it. And that's the tough part, is like, I avoided Crucible first week. When they said that Warlocks had like 55 meters or whatever of like they're super and they're just freezing people and shattering them, and it's just everywhere. And I was like, I don't need that crucible power. I'm gonna leave that pinnacle on the table and not worry about it.
Shax, I'll catch you next week.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. So, but yeah, it's tough.
Diamond, quick question for you. This is actually something I was wondering in the beginning, and I forgot to ask you. Do you have Chronicler?
I do. Yes,
you do.
I got Chronicler the week I was supposed to get it.
The week that you were allowed to. Okay.
So, okay. I two feelings. I'm going to bookend this Chronicler experience. I'm going to start at the end, which is all the people who didn't get Chronicler until they heard it was going away. And people's frustration that it was going away, and they would go and they would get Truth to Power every week, and then of course they ran out of time. And some people are. I have a buddy of mine who's at 9 of 11. I have a buddy of mine who's at 10 of 11, and he didn't get it because he was a week behind. So I understood that frustration. They were like, "Well, you already have it." I said, "My frustration is different. Rewind back to when you were supposed to get it. So you went every week. You got your Truth to Power. A matter of fact, you went every 3 weeks because you had to wait until it was curse week to actually get there. So it was even longer than every week. So every 3 weeks I would go there. Every 3 weeks I would go there. And so there's 2 weeks remaining. And I'm scrolling through Twitter, and Damage, the community manager, Damage04, took advantage of the 2 week bug where you would go on one character and then you would go on a second character, which you couldn't do up to that point. For whatever reason, it only worked that week, and he got Chronicler a week early. I was livid.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I wanted to be part of the group of people who got Chronicler for the first time.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that was a thing. And so I was furious. So I was like, I understand your frustration. The only difference is I wanted it early, not later.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I have a couple people who didn't get Chronicler because it was by the time they wanted it, they only wanted it when it was going away. And
right.
Yeah. Sucks.
They wanted to have the exclusivity that came with it before. Which even now when I walk around and I see Chronicler, I'm like, yo, that's awesome that I see that. Those are the OGs.
Those are the ones.
Yeah.
I look at it as people play what they value, period. People play what they value. And if you value, there are people who don't care at all about the Conqueror title, about doing 6 Grandmasters. They don't care. That's not what they're there for. It's not what they're interested in. So that title goes by the wayside. They're not moved at all by people that have it. It doesn't matter to them. I had 2 titles I wanted, Dredgen and Chronicler. Those were the 2 that I wanted. Because the Gambit I was really enamored by, and Chronicler I knew I wanted to be on a shadow of a doubt because I was so into the lore. So the people who have like flawless for trials, I'm not doing that. I'm not interested in that. That's not my thing. So I was forced to get 1 win a week to get the Trials and Tribulations book, but it is what it is. But people play what they value, and if they value the exclusivity, then all of a sudden it becomes a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the tough part, especially the FOMO last year was so bad. The fact that people don't know what Season of the Dawn was about because there's no remnants of it.
Yeah.
The sundial's not there. The cutscenes aren't there. The weapons aren't there. There's nothing from that season that's here. That unless someone has that weapon, that's the only way that people know what that is. Like I was using Devil's Ruin, and people were like, "What is that?" And I said, "Well, it came with Season of Dawn," and they were like, "Season of Dawn." I'm like, "Okay,
all right, sit down."
Sit down.
How much time do you have?
Let me tell you an insane story about the community doing math to try to build out a map to go through corridors. Like the most ridiculous experience you could put together. But the FOMO was just so bad of wanting to be a part of it that if it went away, like it was gone. The fear of missing out was just, it sucks because then people either say, well, I'm not playing this, and then they don't play it because they don't know that stuff's not coming back. Yeah. Or they play it and now they have access to stuff that people didn't have. So it's tough.
That's how I originally was with Season of Undying, because I didn't understand yet that when Bungie said, "Oh, season content's going away," it's going a fucking away.
It's going away after that season, not after the year, after the season. I was like,
yeah.
I was
like,
like,
oh, I'll
you're
do
really
Vex Offensive
trusting that
next
this community
week.
is okay with that. Right.
Yeah, I remember that. I was like, Vex Offensive on a thing? I'm like, how am I supposed to
I actually
get power now? Not that I enjoy doing it or I knew how to do it. I was like, how am I gonna learn to do it then if it's gone?
I actually I stopped. I didn't get the Undying title because I was so frustrated that the fight with the Undying Mind was the same as the 3 previous weeks. It was the same mechanically, it was the same functionally, that I was like, I'm not doing this. Because I think you had to beat him a certain number of times to get the triumph for it. And I was just like, no, I'm not doing that. Because I was so disappointed by the season. There's such potential.
Have you felt that way with the Season of the Hunt now? Because I enjoy the hunt mechanic, but I feel like I'm just murdering everything so quickly.
Right.
I don't feel that way yet because I have a feeling, and this is just me projecting because I have no basis on it. I have a feeling that they've taken seasonal content and they're stretching it for the
I can tell you for
entire.
a fact
I hope
they
so, yeah.
If you want to get, because right now I'm working on Warden, and Warden, what I have is I need to get kills with the grenade launcher, the actual thunk, not the breach load one.
Yeah.
And then I need to do like wear the armor and do that, and then get the upgrades.
Yeah.
I have all the upgrades, except there's one upgrade left that I'm not able to get for some reason. And then also, if you get everything available right now for the triumphs, for some reason there's still 4 things that you still need. So you know that they're stretching out content. I kind of like that. Do I want Warden now? Absolutely. But am I willing to wait that time? Because I'm glad that I'm not just getting everything done immediately and tiring myself out of it. It's great.
I wasn't sure there because I thought I was looking at it with the triumphs page where it was how it was broken up into each individual little like brackets. If those counted towards a thing, okay.
Yeah, so the more you accomplish a certain feat, the next bracket is kind of complete. Unless it's a quest, like Born in Darkness. Every time you complete a chapter of Born in Darkness, it gives you the next ring. But I think that it's easier for them to develop it, especially in their work from home space. And I think it's easier for their community to take it. Will they get antsy? Absolutely. They're absolutely going to get antsy around, I want to complete something. It's not done. When am I going to get it?
Yeah.
Right? When is this going to happen? There's a rumor that we're getting a dungeon here pretty soon. And the dungeon it's going to be like Outbreak. That's how we get Hawkmoon. I don't know if it's true, but YouTubers are saying that they've glitched into a space they don't recognize. So we'll see how that goes.
Everyone's glitching somewhere. Oh, I think it's this, and they're at the Clovis Bray head and at the friggin'.
Yeah, they were like, "This is the raid," and we were like, "No, it's not."
Big head,
not close to the raid. Dude.
Big head,
big head. So no head.
So
no head at all. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it turned out it was a vendor. What are the odds? But yeah, so I think pacing it is a really good choice for them. One, it helps them kind of manage what they're working on. But 2, to your point, is like I don't have to feel the need to burn through stuff. Like Dawning is coming up soon, so it's right around the corner. I don't know what it's going to be. They're for Game to Give. They're revealing the concept art for the armor. They just did the Titans yesterday or today. Okay. I think it was today. So if you go on the Bungie site, the Titan armor for the Dawning is a little weird. It's like huge pauldron. It's got like horns in the thing. It's pretty large.
I'll have to check.
But yeah, so I think they're pacing it out a little bit is a good call for them. Yeah,
I'm definitely excited for the rest of this season and the more Beyond the Light content that is coming out with it. I don't know. Are they going to make the dungeon, you think, for Beyond the Light or for Season of the Hunt?
I would imagine it's for Season of the Hunt. We've gotten our 2 exotics for Beyond Light with Duality and No Time. Well, people who pre-order got No Time to Explain. But Duality and Eyes of Tomorrow are the exotics for Beyond Light.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that Hawkmoon is going to be the exotic for the season.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I don't think you're going to be able to access the dungeon without the season.
Yeah, and then they're gonna do it like Prophecy. How at the end of Arrivals, Prophecy goes away, and
I think Prophecy's coming back.
oh, is it?
So they
That's
said
good then.
really early on, they said that Prophecy was going away because there was an issue with it, but it wasn't an issue enough to to merit getting rid of it. It wasn't like we're gonna pull it immediately. Um, I think it had something to do with the loot pool and what they wanted to offer. And so what they did is they inserted the Ikelos weapons to kind of like fill in the gap. I think is what it was. I don't know for sure, but I do know their plan is to bring it back.
Oh, perfect. Then
That was
that's
the one
great.
dungeon outside of Pit of Heresy that we were supposed to keep.
Awesome. Yeah, because I enjoy Pit. Prophecy was super fun.
Prophecy was phenomenal, dude.
Shattered is Shattered, and that was the first one, and it was incredible. So I want to see more of that 3-man raid-esque activities because those are insanely fun.
Yeah, I think this Hawkmoon one was meant to replace 0 Hour. 0 Hour was leaving, and then Hawkmoon kind of comes in and takes its place. But we'll see if that ends up being the case. But yeah, I'm excited to see it come back. I'm interested to see what they do with it because it had a really unique role, and the perks in it like don't exist. Like there's no luck in the chamber in this game. So
yeah, so we'll have to see because each D1 Exotics had a little bit of tweak into it. Thorn the tweak, Bad Juju a little tweak. So
yeah, I think the only one was I'm trying to
Outbreak,
think of
right?
Exotic. Outbreak. So Outbreak's masterwork is what made it different. But yeah, ultimately it was the same. Precision hits just generated.
Yeah.
Or precision kills got nanites generated, so it functioned the same, but the masterwork was a little better. Yeah, I don't know. Like Last Word functioned the same, but it had better hip fire because hip fire grip was a thing. But yeah, I don't know if there are any D1 exotics that like really function differently. But for Hawkmoon, like the specific perks it got don't exist, so they would have to create
either creating them
get
or
it to
we're
function.
something a little new.
Or are we getting something like a Hawkmoon that fits in D2 with a new exotic perk? So we'll see.
And then last part I'm going to probably talk about for D2, even though I'm having a riveting conversation with this, is Vault of Glass. How are we feeling about it coming back? What do we think the loophole is going to look like? Are we going to see Mythic Class come back, we think? Or how is it going to be changed?
I think the obvious answer is I think we're going to get champions. That's the easiest thing that you could predict. Where they put the champions, I don't know. If you go into the Gorgon maze and you decide that hey, the Gorgons are going to be Harpy champions, like it's interesting.
That'll be a cool new ad.
I will say this: the Omnigul strike revealed to me that Bungie is not bringing back old stuff. They're taking old stuff and they're mapping it to new content because we don't fight Omnigul. We fight Navoda in a room that is built differently because it has a whole sub basement.
Yeah.
If you go into one of the lost sectors on the EDZ, the building where the fallen Saber strike is, the entrance is wrecked. Like it's got debris in front of it. So that's why you can't get into it. Which means that if and when they give us the Fallen Saber strike, it's going to function differently than historically it did. We might fight a similar boss in a similar area, but it's not exactly going to be the same. And so it made me think about like, what do players value? Do they value the nostalgia of the boss? Are they like, yo, I gotta fight Atheon, you gotta give me Vex Mythoclast. It's gotta be exactly the way it was. Because it's one thing to do it for a strike, but it's another to do it for a raid. And what is arguably a lot of people's favorite raid. Do you leave it as is and then just let people blow through it because that's all it would be? People have run Vault
people know the mechanics.
People know how it functions, they know how it works. I think a Vault of Glass that is functionally different, even though the area might be the same, would be fun. Knowing where I can jump, knowing the areas that I can move in, but having completely different mechanics, I think would be phenomenal. I don't know if they can bring back Vex though. Vex was busted. Vex was either broken or unused. Like it never got to a middle area where
it was both extremes.
Either broken or never used again. but no one ever used it after they nerfed it because it was so strong.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Vex can exist in this day and age because it's like Pocket Infinity maybe.
Yeah.
Because they ended up, if you read the lore tab for that gun, it's the Ishtar Collective taking the centerpiece in Vex Mythoclast, experimenting with it, and finding a way to put it in a sidearm that generates like infinite ammo. Like, so it's the origins of Vex Mythoclast is in that gun.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it interesting. But I don't know. I don't know what they would give. I don't even know if it has to be that. Technically, the Vault of Glass exists in all space and time. They could give us any gun. They can give us No Time to Explain.
Yowlhorn comes back from it.
Not No Time to Explain. They can give us No Land Beyond. They can give us Patience and Time. They can give us
No Land Beyond. What a throwback.
No, do you understand how happy I would be if we got No Land Beyond? Killing people with a musket rifle in Crucible would be the biggest troll.
Absolutely.
You understand? I have to reload after every shot, and I'm still killing you.
I would just love to see how the PvP people like Gigs or Triple Wreck would just murk people, and how crazy it would be, especially with the competitive playlist now.
Oh yeah,
people just going in full No Land Beyond team.
It would be so. The handling on that gun was terrible, but it was just so much fun to use.
It would be a fantastic time.
There's one gun I'm waiting to come back, and I want it so bad.
Ooh, let's hear it.
I want my Kvastov. I want my exotic Kvastov.
The 900 RPM.
Oh my god, I loved that thing.
Wow.
It was. I feel like my favorite part about it was how customizable it was. Because you're really like, yeah, I'm gonna throw Kvastov on. It's like, what do you need? Oh, you need a scout rifle? Let me just drop it on semi.
I got you. Yeah.
We need to like just put rounds down range. 900 RPM, full auto. Let's get
fun. Yeah, I don't know. Like the D1 exotic I wanted was Outbreak, and they brought it back, and that was only because the first time I did a raid race was Wrath of the Machine. That was the first time I participated in the day one raid. So Wrath was so special in that like I'm such a Rise of Iron apologist, because I loved everything about my experience with Rise of Iron. I mean, some people love Taken King, like that's their jam. Most people do. But I don't know if there's like a D1 weapon that I think the only weapon that comes to mind that I think is the easiest to adapt without really interrupting the loot pool would be something like Invective. Now that Reconstruction as a perk exists, with just slowly reloading ammo from the raid weapons, Invective, that was Invective's perk, was just slowly reloading ammo. So I don't know if I have like a D, because I got mine already.
Yeah.
So I'm happy. I'm satisfied.
Yeah, I'm satisfied. Kvastov is a solid. People love Kvastov, dude.
Yeah,
loved it.
As much as I would love to finally get my Icebreaker in D2, because I never got one in D1. I always missed it, and we're not, because we have Reconstruction now with the sniper, and essentially the raid sniper is just Icebreaker but legendary, which is fine by me as long as I get it.
Better if you think about it.
Yeah,
and
I get it.
Think about how much better this legendary sniper is than Icebreaker, because you can get Reconstruction Vorpal weapon on it, so you can get boss damage, extra ammo. The thing ends up getting like 7 rounds in the clip to start. It's just,
and then you throw a backup mag on it,
and then you throw. Oh my goodness, it's insane what it can start with, and that's a legendary. So it shows how far we've come.
But just to add to the machine gun one, I would just love to have super good advice back. I think that would be super fun just to see it.
Oh my god, I forgot about that gun.
I forget the exotic perk, but I always remember the look of it, and then it had like its own AI in the lore, which I thought was a super cool just a little tidbit for that gun. So I was like, always remember that. But
there are only I think Bife has a video that says there are only 3 guns with like living AI on it, in which the AI communicates with its user in some way, and one of them was Darcy. Because Darcy
Darcy has
like AI built into it.
I love Darcy.
Yeah, he specifically separates guns with AI and guns with a soul, because like Touch of Malice doesn't count.
Yeah. Or like would Xenophage count as like a soul?
Xenophage counts. Yeah. it's not AI, but it's someone who communicates with the user in some way.
Yeah.
Who's empowered by the actions of it. So, but yeah, like people love super good advice.
Yeah,
Which
that's
great,
such a cool.
I was tricked. I thought that we were going to get it when I saw the Europa weapons, because they have such a similar design and look to them.
Yeah.
And I was like, originally I had to do a double take. I was like, is that super good advice? Because I couldn't tell at first. So,
but do we want to keep going, or is this feel like a good place to stop for us? It's been about an hour and
it's up to y'all. I don't care.
For us, what do you think? We still got some other stuff to talk about.
We got one of those topics I feel like would be really great to talk about.
Yeah, I think we both agree on that. So we're gonna that's gonna be enough Destiny talk for now. As much as I
can do this.
I mean, we could do.
I can do this for the next hour and a half.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. But
I can talk beyond like
I want to hear about this next part because for everyone listening, what we go off of is our Trello board, which is a cool organization website that I use for like everything in my life now because I'm crazy. But we have all of the topics we like to talk about laid out, and we have a grease fire that recently happened in Frost's house that I'd love to hear the story about because I haven't heard it yet.
So, picture if you will. Let me take you on a journey. Right?
When was this, by the way? When was this?
This was yesterday.
Just for context.
My man is just casually talking about Destiny after a grease fire. My goodness. Go ahead.
Bro, this is how the podcast works, and I love it. So I have drill coming up this weekend. One of the things that we have to do is get a flu shot, like I was telling you about earlier. So I get home from work yesterday. I'm like, all right, I have a thing scheduled with CVS. I'm going to run over real quick. I'll be right back. By the way, what's going on for dinner? I'm talking to my mom. And she's like, oh, I was planning on doing some chicken, like some candy carrots, get some potatoes going. I was like, that sounds phenomenal. McDonald's is completely off the board right now. I don't have to worry about that. Dinner set. So go get my flu shot, come back. And I'm like, hey, I have to fill out this paperwork to send to my command about this. I'll be right back down. Just give me a sec. So I'm upstairs in my room. I'm enjoying myself. I threw on YouTube. I'm just sitting there filling out this paper. And then I just hear downstairs, I hear my mom scream. And then she screams, Matthew, like, come here. So in my head, I thought, oh, it was probably a mouse because we've had a mouse in the kitchen before because it's wintertime. So they're looking for something warm. So I'm taking my time. I put my phone in my pocket. I pause my YouTube video, gently set my papers off to the side and put my pen away. I even clicked it closed, right? So I walk up to the door. I'm like, I'm going to have to deal with this mouse. Open the door and it's just smoke. I can't see dick. I was like, oh, this is different, right? So instantly in my head, I'm like, all right, we need to act quick. So I start screaming to my brother.
This is a vibe right now.
I'm literally just vibing. What the fuck?
Just vibing.
Yo, check his vibe. Bad vibe. Bad vibe. So I scream out to my brother. I'm like, Michael, get out of the house. Something funny with that is all he heard was his name. So if I didn't get it under control, he'd probably just would have been chilling, been like, oh, what's going on? So
was he speed running? Is that why he didn't?
I don't think he was. I think he was just fucking in his room vibing. I think he was just had his headphones on. But so I sprint downstairs, try not to trip because I can't fucking see where I'm going. And I look over and mom's just screaming. And I was like, fuck, dude, what's going on? And I look and I see the pan and fire and the shit's climbing over the microwave. The fucking ceiling's on fire. I was like, fuck me. All right, we got to move quick. I'm like, all right, grease fire, can't do water. Can't do fire extinguisher. I gotta get a pan to cover it. So I run over to the section where we keep all our pans by the fire, of course. So I rip that shit open. I'm going through, bro. How come every fucking thing that I'm pulling out is like a colander? Like all the shit has holes in it, right? Or it's too small. Like it's a saucepan that I can't use to cover the thing. The floor was just covered with pans and colanders and all this shit that I'm trying to do. Finally, I get something that's big enough to cover it. I'm like, fuck. Just barely fucking suffocated the thing, right? Put it on, move it off to the side, turn off the oven and shit. Fire's still going up top. I'm like, God damn it. Where's our fire extinguisher? So I scream, like, where's the fire extinguisher? My mom rips open the basement door because that's where we had it at the old house.
Yeah.
It's not there. I'm like, fuck. Oh, under the sink. So I rip open the sink, grab the fire extinguisher, let out the burst, and I fucking kill the fire. House is filled with smoke, right? My mom is crying because obviously she's upset that she lit the house on fire.
Yeah,
right?
It's a moment. Yeah.
My brother finally comes down. He's like, "Hey, what's going on?" I was like, well, let me tell you about fire real quick. We need to open up windows because the smoke in here is what's called bad, right?
Fire.
So I'm screaming like, "Hey, we need to open windows. Let's go." My mom is like shell shocked pretty much. Like she's down. And my brother's like, "Hey, we should call Dad." And I'm like, Dad's not here right now. What we need to do is open up the fucking window. It took me probably about like 2-3 minutes to get people to start opening windows with me. For a while, it was just me running around trying to get shit open and turning fans on.
Wow.
Finally, we start getting the smoke out. I'm sitting there. Instantly, I'm cracking jokes. I'm sitting there singing Sean Kingston's Fire on the Dance Floor while I'm fucking getting smoke out of the house.
Well, there was literally a fire.
Bro, I literally told my mom, like, if you started singing We Didn't Start the Fire by Billy Joel, it probably would have went away because it didn't know where it came from. I would have had, like, a social, like, self-drama vibe. So, she didn't find that funny at the time.
She didn't find, yeah.
Yeah, she wasn't about it. I thought it was pretty great. So, finally, my dad comes home, and he's like, okay, is anybody hurt? Thankfully, my mom, the microwave had like the glass like shattered from it. Obviously, she had a small cut on her foot. We got that cleaned out. She's all good. That's the only injury. Thankfully, we got the insurance taking care of all this. We're all good. I think one of my favorite parts though is my sister was working and she comes home and I'm in the process of ordering food. I ended up getting McDonald's actually that I was craving. So, I feel like everything worked out in the end. So I ended up getting my quarter pounder. And
sorry, Mom. I know you slaved over this food and almost died.
It turns out my man put grease on the oven. I was like, I'm not eating this food. I'm getting McDonald's. Don't you worry about that.
I straight up told her that. I literally was like, Mom, I'm not going to lie. I was really craving some McDonald's. Like, your meal sounded great. I was looking forward to it. But I see this as, not an absolute win, but a win nonetheless. We're still taking a dub here. Right? So my sister walks in and I'm like, hey, what do you want from McDonald's? And she just assumed I was just ordering food for everybody. So she just gives me an order. And I see her walk in with this sign. And I was like, what's going on there? At first I thought it was just a regular Trump sign because I figured she probably just took it off someone's yard because that's just her vibe, right? But then I see Wu-Tang, and I remember the memes that I've seen, and I was like, there's no fucking way you got one of those. And she's like, yes, I did.
It's amazing.
And she was like, and it's yours. And I was like, there's no fucking way. So, of course, after a very chaotic evening, not only did I get McDonald's, but I got a great Presidents Are Temporary, Wu-Tang is Forever sign. And,
you can't. It
was a good day. It was a good day.
You said it. They might have taken you to double OT, but you walked out with the dub. Like
they had us in the first half, not gonna lie.
They had us in the first half, not gonna lie. But,
and thank you for explaining what the sign said for the viewers, for the listeners who aren't on YouTube.
Amazing, dude.
And it's literally right above his head if you're listening on any of your podcasting listening platforms.
If anything, roll over to the YouTube real quick and just pull up wherever we are. Just scroll through until we're talking about this, or just literally start it because it's just over my head this whole time. When I finally finished throughout the day, I didn't get up here until 10 o'clock, right? And I still had so much shit to do. I still had my fucking paperwork to fill out, which was covered in fucking soot and ash and all that shit from the smoke coming upstairs. So hopefully my sergeant doesn't mind that when I turn the paperwork in. But I turned my camera on and I hopped into the Discord call so I could be like, hey, I need to put the sign up. Just let me know how it looks. I have it to where when I'm on my bed over the TV, I can see it fine. When I sit in my chair, see it good. And damn well I set up for the podcast the next day to where you could see Wu-Tang is Forever.
My man pops a crispy snipe and he looks up and he goes, yeah.
Wu-Tang is forever.
Wu-Tang?
Good for you. Yeah, that was my eventful day yesterday.
Ooh, love it.
That's incredible. I mean, that's not incredible that you had a fire, but the turn of events after everything was okay. Getting McDonald's and a cool sign.
Wu-Tang is forever?
Wu-Tang is forever. Like,
man,
that's almost as good as the gift you got Johnny.
Are we going into that? We're going into
that. We're going into it.
Go. Diamond, I don't know if when you've swung in Ricky's stream before, Johnny, any Spartan Man as his title, the previous guest we had on the show, me and him are very close. He's the reason that I got introduced to Ricky and that group of friends that we have, right?
Yeah.
So me and him have this connection. We're pretty much the same person where we'll just say the same joke at the same time, or we're just like, I feel like we have like psychologically, like we're just back.
You guys are definitely in tune.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
I'm scrolling through Instagram one day, and his sister is talking about, I need to raise some money for like some extra dollars for college. I'm making these custom glasses, like drinking glasses to mugs, wine glasses, coffee mugs. Hit me up. I got you. And me being the fantastic friend that I am, instantly I thought, how can I fuck with Johnny? And boy, did I. So I hit her up. I'm like, hey, first, how you been? I see you're doing this thing with the cups, And she's like, yeah, no, are you interested? I was like, well, that matters if you're interested in helping me prank your brother. And instantly she responded with, yes. So from there, my plan moved forward, where I told her what I wanted on the cup. And I was like, take your time. You got school going on. You got finals and all that. When you get there, you just let me know. Make sure you get a video. She's like, I got it. So I'm in the middle. This was when I was in the field. So I was having a shitty time. It's cold. Everything's going to shit because it's the army. And I get the video and it made my fucking day. So breaking the tension and the buildup. I don't know where the joke came from. I think I probably put it on Johnny. Was it Hack?
I think it was Hack who started it.
All right. I think we were just talking about simping one day. And, of course, the most notorious person that people simp for is Pokimane. So, in our Discord, Johnny has one of the roles of Pokimane simp.
He did not like this role.
Oh, he hates it.
He didn't ask for that role.
No. He doesn't
even watch her.
He doesn't, nothing, right?
There's no connection.
No connection.
Never given $1 to this woman and ad money, nothing, right?
The Pokemon, I got no idea who it is. That's funny.
I got this man a cup that just says Pokimane simp on the glass.
Wow.
That I had his sister make.
And
not only did she wrap it and put it in a box, but she brought her mother and his mother up to the room. So not only did he get the glass that he opens it up and it says Pokimane simp, he had the pleasure of explaining who Pokimane was, what simping was, and then just combining the two together to his sister and his mother.
Ooh.
I didn't know that part. That's incredible.
Now I'm terrified for my life because I know
forcing
he's going to try to get me
someone
back.
to explain the internet to their parents in general is already a problem. Let alone you then have to go, let me tell you about Pokimane.
That's like getting into Destiny. You're like, how much time do you got?
How much time you got?
How much time? Sit down.
Go
grab some water.
I could describe it in 30 seconds as a female streamer that a lot of guys just like to chill in the chat for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
But people who are passionate about Pokemon got a whole different perspective.
Oh.
You don't understand. I'm like, yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it. But.
She's a girl and she plays games. Yes, like a lot of the population.
Yes,
No.
No. You don't understand.
You don't understand. She's a girl who plays games. Yeah, I know. I got half of them in my Discord. Like we were just raiding 2 days ago. I don't think you get it.
All right, so everything you know, get rid of it. Irrelevant.
Get rid of it.
Right?
Let me tell you.
Start back over. Actually, let's put a pen in this. Let's go into the simp.
Let's go into the simp. You're clearly not getting it. Let me talk about
I wish I got that part on video. Unfortunately, his sister just got the part where I love the way the video ends. Because he goes, why is this a thing? Or whatever. He showed the glass of the cup. What does it say? He goes, what does it say? It's a glass that says Pokimane simp. That's what it says. And then the video ends. The amount of times I watched that in my tent, just waiting to go to sleep.
Even more. Because like now you can just fill in the gaps on what the actual experience was. Yeah, I think the moment that video ended,
spent.
That was it.
Money well spent.
Indeed.
Yeah.
100%. I would do it again.
That's a wonderful gift.
Absolutely.
Christmas came early for Johnny.
If he wants those impressions, he better take a photo of that cup and tag Pokemon in it.
He better.
If he wants them Twitter impressions.
Hey,
I want those impressions. You better send that video to me.
Better tag me.
Let me tag
Yeah.
Pokemon real quick.
I should probably block him immediately.
Yeah,
the fuck is
Pokemon would just
this?
be like, no,
third
we're gonna.
guy today.
Guy thinks he has a cup with my name on it. Makes him special. Ugh.
Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe she would be like really happy that someone just put her name on a cup and not on something irreparably worse.
Like a body
She
pillow.
would just be like, "Oh man, it's on a mug. Like that's actually not terrible.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like this. That's not bad."
It was like
because she could sell it as merch.
what was it? It was like a 12-ounce beer cup, was it?
Get the
Yo,
hell
if that ended up on her merch store, I'd be livid.
Bro, I'm about
Like,
to text Johnny's sister and be like, listen, I need you to hit this chick up, and we're gonna make you more money for college. All right, we're gonna get you in that merch store.
Could you imagine, yo, the feel good story of 2020? Pokemon helps girl get through college using Pokemon
Last
Simp
month,
as a mug.
power through 2020.
She
We're
did
almost
just
there.
Unreal.
She did just make a record though, and is now the first streamer to, or is it? It's either her or Lupo who's only using donations for charity now. It's either her or Lupo.
Lupo.
One of the two.
So Lupo's the one who I think they both started to do it. Lupo, I think, announced first. I think is what it was.
Lupo's just
Gotcha.
a huge charity, dude. Shout
But,
out
like,
to that fucking man for everything that he fucking does.
Lupo.
Honestly.
So Lupo did one thing that I think, if you look at any other streamer who monetarily makes a lot of money, so you're looking at Gothalion, you're looking at, you're looking at obviously Dr. Disrespect, you're looking at Ninja, you're looking at a lot of different people.
Tap man,
But
fuck it.
yeah, Tim the Tap Man, all these guys. Lupo was the first one to start bringing in sponsors that were not a part of the industry.
Yeah.
If you think about it, like Gillette had started with the doc a little bit, but when Lupo brought in State Farm, and we were like, my man is partnered with State Farm.
This is Twitch, dude. I'm trying to watch COD.
But that's the thing that like pushes the industry forward, is to, if you can find a way to take a major company and say, I want you to invest not only in me, but in this at large, that's more money for everybody. So like the more Lupo does stuff like that, the more it's going to make it easier for everybody else. Because it shows in like all of a sudden you're going to see someone sponsored by Geico. Like it's just because it's possible. State Farm does it. They make a lot of money with it. So
I'm going to finish this raid in 15 minutes or less, just like what it'll do for your car insurance. All right, let's get it done.
Oh,
he's got it.
Hashtag
Geico, I haven't
ad.
even
This is ready
yet.
already.
Fucking hit me up. All right, I'm about to slide in your DM.
Bong,
Get this
bong.
partnership.
We're ready for it here. Come on. Just send it. Just hit my business email. We'll get some. We'll link up.
Maybe when I start my leave. Maybe.
Maybe after.
Yeah, man.
My reveal.
Maybe after Denny's gives us their cease and desist for that. For our...
Then he's gonna hit y'all up and be like, "Yo, you guys are killing. No one comes to eat here anymore.
The cops have to stay.
It's just grand slams and knife fights. Like that's what everyone thinks we're about.
Grand slams
and grand slams and knife fights. And you guys are killing our revenue.
So,
I feel like if anything, we bring more notoriety to the brand. But you know, whether it's positive or negative, you take the pick.
Hey, no press is or bad press.
All press is good press.
There we go.
All press is good press.
There you go.
Like I said,
I mean, come on. In this show alone, Donald Glover is at a Denny's. How much better press can I give you?
There's your fucking commercial right there.
Yeah, Donald Glover at a Denny's. That's the foundation of your commercial. That's all you got to do.
Literally, we're the advertising team for Denny's right now.
Yeah.
Bro, Denny's, hit me up.
Donald Glover, Chris Angel, and Harry Houdini walk into a Denny's. There you go. That's the beginning of your...
Get the Grand Slam, walk out, and just switch blades.
That's your commercial.
Fine.
Phenomenal.
But I think that is where we're going to inevitably end the podcast on. This has definitely been one of my favorite episodes recording.
Absolutely.
It's been a great time. But Diamond, closing, you're our guest. Please let the listeners, the viewers know where they can find you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate being here. It's always an honor to talk to people. I always appreciate doing this because it's always fun to talk games with people. Podcasting is like very near and dear to me. So for people that like invest in that type of communication and structure, I'm always a fan of. So I appreciate you having me. But you can find me pretty much anywhere at DiamondJab, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. I stream Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. I also have a YouTube video that goes up on my YouTube channel every Monday. My most recent video was a kind of beginner's walkthrough into Charged with Light. If you'll notice that, like Lupo and Glad, they all told people, hey, go to the gunsmith and go get Lucent Blade. And half the people didn't even know what Lucent Blade was because no one played Season of Dawn to get Charged with Light. So I did a nice around 10-minute video that goes into kind of the foundations of Charged with Light, so people could get an understanding of how it functions and how they can take advantage of those things. And in terms of the rest of the year, also on my YouTube channel, I have a section called the Lore Library, which is a playlist of videos and collections in which I partner with other content creators in the Destiny space to give voices to voiceless characters. In the Destiny universe, there's a lot of lore where characters are not associated with a voice actor, and so the goal was to kind of connect them together into a cohesive narrative. The last one I did was talking about kind of the Gray Vanguard. If we had our Vanguard that were part of the Tower, we had 3 individuals: Shin Malfur, Eris Morn, and the Drifter, that really represented this giant gray area of how the darkness could be perceived. And so creating dialogue through lore books of characters in which they didn't have dialogue, that was kind of the goal. Shin Malfur doesn't, and then Warlock Anor is the second one that doesn't have a voice actor or actress with them. So we had Big Daddy Tej and we have Robotic Addy who voiced them. We're going to be going into another video probably at the beginning of the year to kind of take Beyond Light and bring it into some context now that we have some new books to kind of sift through, because some of it is actually really good. So that's going to kind of be the goal. But that's what I got going on right now in my life, and really focusing on the streaming. It's been a good time. So
yeah,
awesome.
We were happy to have you here. Yeah, and it's so nice to catch up with someone who not only have I known for a while, but person I've met in real life, which is great, and just really
streamers exist.
Yes,
they're not just people on the streaming. They are physical people.
Yeah, it's just really nice to have people who I have a really good connection with to bring onto the show. So yeah, again, we love having you here, and hopefully we can have you again another time.
Oh, absolutely.
Frost, where can they find you?
As always, you can find me on the Twitter that I don't use, which would be at Matt_Burke_Matt, of course, with 1 T, and Burke spelled on the banner over there.
If you cannot see the banner, it is Burke.
The way the man said it.
Guess I'm the man. But
Ricky, where can they find you?
Well, it's funny you asked. But you can find me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Shaggy_TV, 2 Y's in Shaggy because some bastard took 1 Y in every other iteration. So SHAGGYY_TV on those 3 places. But yeah, it's gonna do it. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of the T3 podcast. And next week, we'll hopefully have just as much fun as we did this week. But we'll see you guys later, and have an awesome week. Peace.